I was happy to be out, but still scared because, you know, I guess because we're creatures of habit and you want to feel secure and safe. They drive you to the bus station and, you know, they give you $200 and they buy your ticket. And so I arrived downtown LA and it was really scary. It was really scary. Everybody knows that you're from prison. They know. And I felt like I was just standing there buck naked. I didn't have any place to go. I really didn't. And I called Miss Burton and I told her, I said, I received a letter from you and you said for me to call you and that you would pick me up. And she says, where are you? And I told her, she says, I'll be there in about 15 minutes. And she came and picked me up. So to come into a place and to have food, have choices, just stuff people take for granted. Miss Burton is so sweet. She's a good lady. I'm glad she picked me up.
We don't get a lot of money here. We barely make it from month to month, keeping the doors open, keeping food in the houses, keeping the lights on, keeping staff paid. It was 1999.
Hey, Linda.
I was a few months sober. And it angered me that I would be treated so cruel and caged and chained for a drug charge. And I knew thousands of women just like me. Imagine $70,000 a year to keep us contained, just squandering public funds. Hell, they could have sent me to Yale.
I went to see the social worker, sign up for food stamps. She asked me if I had a conviction or anything like that on my record, and, you know, I said, yes, I have. And she said, what? And I said, for sales of, you know, narcotics. And she says, oh, you're not eligible. They won't give me food stamps because of my conviction. They won't give me low-income housing because of my conviction. I could call up a drug dealer right now, somebody that knows me, and I don't have to have any money. They would give me something to sell, and I would pay them back, and then I would be on my way. I can understand how other people that get out of prison when they're not that motivated and doors are closed in their face. I can see how they go back to prison. And so it's very easy to get back into that lifestyle.
After all the presentations, I just feel so hopeful. It wasn't always like that. You know, I just feel hopeful. So I'm Susan Burton. I'm the founder and executive director of a New Way of Life Reentry Project. A New Way of Life was founded in 1998 following my last release from prison. What happened for me is that in 1982, my 5-year-old son was accidentally killed. And I drank and I used drugs. And the drugs sent me to prison. And when I get off that bus downtown, where Angela got off, over and over and over again, I'd walk out the prison gate and I'd swear I wasn't coming back. And there was nothing there to help me make that transition. So I found a place in Santa Monica. A friend of mine over a cheap beer said, I know where you can go. I went there and didn't dawn on me, well, you're still drinking, but anyway, he said I went there and he told me the place. I found it and I went. When I got there, I found a wealth of resources and services that I took in. And I thought, this is so much more humane, so much more productive. And why didn't this happen before I ever went to prison? And I set on a path to create a place in South LA. I knew so many women just like me that just needed a safe place to go. So I worked and I saved some money and I got a small house. And then I'd go down to that bus station where I saw people, where I knew women were getting off the bus. and I'd meet them, and I'd bring them back to the house and offer them a place to go, and that created a New Way of Life reentry project. In the third year, after 3 years of being there, I saw women losing their children, and I knew what that felt like because they had nowhere to take them. So we expanded, and we began to take women. So to date, over 200 children have been reunited with their mothers. 95% of the people who are incarcerated are coming home. They're coming home. And when they come home, they need a place to go. Many of them have nothing and no one. Most of them have nothing and no one. So at A New Way of Life, we address recidivism by providing that support, turning those numbers around. 76% of people of the women that go through the house, 76, 78, depending on the year, they don't go back to prison. They find good lives. They find meaningful lives. They might find purposeful lives. They do things. We match. We link potential. We link potential and promise to opportunity. And that's what we do at A New Way of Life. And I brought Tiffany with me, Tiffany Johnson, who demonstrates that. Come on up, Tiffany.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Tiffany Johnson, and I am a former resident of A New Way of Life. I came to A New Way of Life after serving a 16-year sentence on a 15 to life. It was my first time being in any trouble. I got a plea bargain of 15 to life, and I thought my life was over with. And when I went in there, everyone told me, oh, you're never getting out, you're never getting out, because if you're a lifer, you're in there for life. And I was determined that I would not be that one. But what I didn't understand, even though I was setting my standards to better myself and work on whatever issue or problem that I felt I had inside of me, I seen so many people coming in and going out and coming in and going out. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? I'm trying to get out there and you're steady coming back. What's going on, right? And they're like, you don't understand, it's hard. It's hard out there. And I'm like, no, you get out, you get you a job, you live your life, right? And even though they're trying to explain to me, you know, the struggles and the barriers that they were running up against, I still never understood, right? Because I felt like if you were determined enough, you should be able to accomplish it. It wasn't until Miss Burton accepted me into her home, which was a long struggle in getting that, being a lifer, but I finally got to her home and she opened up her door. She embraced me. She waited 6 years. She held the bed 6 years for me. Because when you're a lifer, you go in the board, you never know when you're going to get out. It's up to them to tell you if you're found suitable, right? So 6 years she held this bed. I finally made it there in 2010. And I found out the struggles that everybody was facing. I educated myself in there. You know, I still wasn't quite aware of how much society had grown and all the technology, which I thought I was keeping myself up to, but it didn't work. I didn't know how to use a cell phone, didn't know how to use a computer, don't know how to use most of the gadgets, right? And I had never been alone in my entire life. Come to think of it, growing up, I was with my family. In prison, I was with women all over around. Get to her house, and it's the first time I wake up the very next day alone in this house, and I'm terrified, right? I didn't realize that after serving so much time, I became institutionalized, right? As much as I tried to keep myself strong, but it was just A New Way of Life provided so many different services for us, and for me, that helped me a lot, and so I'm just thankful. I can go on and on, but I have to stop.
Thank you. So that is matching promise, linking promise with opportunity. Yeah.
Fantastic. Mrs. Burton, can you, 600 people is such a legacy. Can you tell us your vision for the future and what that growth looks like and what you see ahead for a new way of life?
So my vision for the future is definitely sustaining and growing the program, but in growing it in a way that, you know, I could actually win selected for battery power, right? That's the win thing, right? Win selected. You know, I'll create a model that I can actually take to cities and neighborhoods and communities. I travel nationally talking and helping other places create the model that we have, which is quite simple. A home, love, support, opportunity, what we want for all of our, for what I want for me, what you want for you, what you want for your kid, you know. So creating a package that, creating a model that could actually be packaged and passed off and used nationally is what I do, what my vision for the future is. And of course, sustaining a new way of life, yeah.
Tiffany, who was your lawyer? I'm very upset.
Well, actually, I had a public defender.
Now I'm even more upset.
That's a whole nother problem there, the whole nother system that we need to look at, but yeah.
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay.
This is very
Thank you.